A pleasant morning, guys. I'm so happy to welcome you all to second term first biology lesson, chapter 9, soil. Soil. Soil is one of the most important natural resources. So there are many resources found in our earth, found in our planet. Among those, we have some natural resources like water, minerals, various different kinds of minerals, soil. So hence we say one of the most important natural resources. Soil is said to be called as one of the most important natural resources. So which means there are also other important natural resources found in this planet. The word soil comes from a Latin word solium. So actually this spelling differs. In some books you come across solium, but in our book it is given as soliem. Anyhow, so it is a Latin word solium, which means earthly material. Soil is obtained from a Latin word solium, which means earthly material. This soil, which comprises of water and nutrients for plants. I hope you know. Soil does not only contain water and nutrients, it contains many factors. The two at present, many pollutants are found in the soil. One part where soil is important for plants, soil is important for animals, humans. The other part, all nasty things are found in the soil. I'm talking about pollution. So basically it comprises of various water and nutrients that are required for the plants. Similarly, soil support plants and various other organisms. I would say, instead of saying many organisms, every living organism we need the support of the soil. Without soil, I cannot stand. Okay, so without soil, no animals can live or stand. So in that way, if you think deep into that, you will find the soil supports all living organisms. It may be aerial or terrestrial or aquatic, all kinds of living organisms, they depend on the support of the soil. So, soil supports plants, animals, humans and all other living organisms. Some organisms, as we mentioned in our book, that is which are found in the soil, that is which have the habitat, soil as the habitat. Various living organisms, especially microorganisms, which have the habitat, which have the soil as the habitat, which includes bacteria, fungi, protozoans and various other burrowing animals. Okay, so I hope you know bacteria, fungi, protozoans, these are microorganisms. Burrowing animals like rodents, rat, rabbit, and there are some insects which burrow and live under the soil, including earthworm, which is not actually an insect. So there are various burrowing animals which depend on the soil, which have soil as the habitat. So these are the important points. One of the most important natural resources. Soil is one of the most important natural resource. It is obtained from the Latin word solium, which means earthly material, and soil is the source of water and nutrient for plants. And I would say not only water and nutrients, various other factors are hidden in the soil, I would say. And basically it supports plants and various other living organisms. I would say all living organisms. Soil supports almost all the living organisms found on this earth. And many organisms are found in the soil, which includes bacteria, fungi, protozoans and burrowing animals. What is meant by burrowing animals? Animals that burrow, burrow and live under the soil. Then special organism found in the earth or found in the soil is earthworms. I hope you know, you might have learned. Everyone knows earthworms, farmer's friend. So they are called as farmer's friend because in two ways they increase the soil fertility. One, they make burrows, which is almost equivalent to ploughing. I hope you know ploughing. So you learn about this ploughing and various other factors of agriculture in the first lesson of 8th standard science. So ploughing is very, very important in agriculture, or I would say ploughing is very, very important for crops. Even in other words, I would say ploughing is very, very important for all kinds of plants. Instead of saying agriculture or crops, I would say ploughing is very, very important for all kinds of plants. How? Simply saying, one point I can say, this ploughing or burrowing the soil of earthworm, which enhances the aeration, okay, aeration for the soil. Okay, so that is plant roots respire. Okay, first point. So you may be knowing that the leaves respire. Apart from leaves, even the roots respire. And if a soil is intact, if there is no space in the soil, okay, in that case no aeration will be found in the soil, and in that case the roots cannot respire. So in that way, ploughing is good for plants, or it enhances the aeration of the roots. In that way, earthworm does that work. Okay, in a small way. Okay, ploughing is a broader point of view. In that way, many earthworms in the soil, they make burrows and thereby enhances the aeration to the roots. Secondly, they eat the minerals or organic waste found in the soil, and they excrete or I would say they convert it into worm cast. That is the manure or minerals or fertilizer that is produced by the earthworm is called as worm cast. Since it is an earthworm, it is called as worm cast. Okay, so they eat and excrete. Excrete means pushing out of the body. That is the remaining waste. Okay, that remaining waste is good for the soil, which is good for the plants, because they convert the organic substance into inorganic minerals. So, and that mineral or that excretion of the earthworm is actually called as worm cast. In these two ways, it increases the soil fertility, and thereby, since soil fertility is increased, it helps a farmer. Okay, in these two ways, it helps a farmer, because when there are more earthworms, the farmer need not to supply extra manure or extra fertilizer. So in that way, earthworms are called as farmer's friend. The next topic is formation of soil. So this question might be your question: from where or how soil would have been formed? Okay, so basically the formation of soil is actually called as weathering. So we call it as weathering of soil. So actually weathering is obtained from rocks, mountains which are made up of rocks. When these mountains breaks into rocks into smaller pieces, and thereby the ultimate result of this weathering of rocks or the breakdown of the rocks is actually soil. So you call this as weathering. Okay, formation of soil is by a process named as weathering, which is none other than the breakdown of the rocks into smaller pieces. Weathering takes place in three ways. That is, another way I could say, there are three agents that involved in the weathering process, which is none other than physical, chemical, and biological. Okay, so weathering takes place in three ways. That is physical weathering, chemical weathering, and biological weathering. This is basically based on the agents that is involved. That is, if physical agents are involved in weathering, it is called as physical weathering. If some chemicals are involved, it is called as chemical weathering. And if living organisms, maybe microorganisms and other organisms, if they are involved in weathering, then that is called as biological weathering. Okay. So physical agents, which include air, water, temperature, and other climatic factors, which cause the breaking down of rocks into smaller pieces, and that is actually called as physical weathering. So air in the sense a strong wind, or a force of water, that is waterfalls, which breaks the rocks into pieces. Okay, and the climatic factors like thunder, okay, or lightning. So especially lightning, okay, lightning and thunder. So I don't want to separate lightning and thunder. So they can cause weathering or breakdown of rocks, and those we call it as physical weathering. There are some chemicals which rupture the rocks into pieces, and those are called as, they come under chemical weathering. And third, certain organisms, it may be microorganisms like bacteria, fungi, protozoans, algae, or certain plants, because of the roots firmly attached to the rock, it may involve or it may result in the breakdown of rocks. and certain burrowing animals which burrows the rocks. Okay, so in that way we come across biological weathering. So basically three types of weathering: physical weathering, chemical weathering, and biological weathering. If physical factors are involved in the weathering or breakdown of rocks, it is called as physical weathering, like air, water, temperature, and other climatic factors. Chemicals, there are certain chemicals which involve in the rupturing of rocks into pieces, so they are called as chemical weathering. And thirdly, microorganisms and other macroorganisms that involve in the breakdown of rocks, which also includes human involvement. So we are involved in the breaking down of rocks into pieces for soil or for gravel. Okay, we break the rocks. So that everything comes under, whether it is natural or artificial, which comes under biological weathering. Okay. One important point with regard to soil, okay, that is if you take 1 square meter of fertile soil, so this is actually level of the soil. Okay, so level in the sense amount of the soil. If you take 1 square meter of soil, if you analyze, you will find that there will be more than 1 billion species. Okay, 1 square meter alone may contain more than 1 billion species of living organisms. That is, which includes microorganisms, maybe insects, worms, etc. So put together, you will find more than 1 billion species of different species of living organisms in 1 square meter of fertile soil. Then the study of soil is called as pedology. So we have different types of study of the soil, study of water, study of space. Like that, study of soil is called as pedology. So all these are certain important points which might be asked in 1 marks. Okay. The next topic is soil profile. Like how we have our own form or profile. Like that, the profile of soil. That is, if you look into this earth, so something I just want to say. So I think our earth is almost elliptical in shape, and imagine in a 3D dimension where at the center of this, like a ball. Okay, so imagine like a ball. So if you look into a ball or this earth, elliptical, which is elliptical. So I have drawn in a round shape, but it is actually elliptical in shape. At the center you have this core, which comprises of this lava. Okay, so when you come away from this center, where you come across this soil or rocks. Okay, so actually at the base you will find more rocks. When you move away from the center, so you will find that presence of soil. Okay, so this nearer to the core, where you have this bedrock. So that is surrounding this core, where you have this bedrock. And when you move in all the directions from the center, so actually you cannot move, you cannot go near this lava. I hope you know what is lava, which comes out in the form of volcanic eruption. So that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so you cannot go near. So a very high temperature. If you are going near, surely you will die. Okay, you will start to burn and you will die because of the very high temperature. Okay, so which is actually present inside the earth. So nearer to this core at the center, you will find the bedrock, and when you move away from the bedrock in all the directions, that is north or east or west or south or any direction, if you move towards the surface, so where you are actually living, where you are actually standing, so this is actually the surface. Okay, so if you move, you will find this soil profile, which you are going to learn now. Okay, so actually I have taken this part. Okay, so I have magnified a part of this earth, that is from the center. Okay, so it may be north or south or east or west, so which is actually based on that from the center, where we have classified this rocks to read about this soil profile. So this is the surface, and you go into where you find the core at the bottom. Okay, so actually at the center. Okay, so as per this diagram at the bottom, so strictly speaking, which is at the center. So this bedrock or core is at the center. A question arises with regard to some students. So for example, you are standing on the earth. So what if I am standing on the south most part of the earth? Will I fall down? No, it is not like that. I hope you know. You have a gravitational pull which actually acts towards the center, which actually pulls everything towards the center, and because of that, whether you are standing in the north or south or east or west, wherever you are standing, you will stand. Only thing is that you will be standing upside down if you are in the south. Okay, so like that. So this I have just drawn to just explain how you will be standing there. But for you, you will be erect, as if you are standing here. Actually, you are in the center, but still you feel that you are standing erect. Actually, you are not standing erect. You are actually you are in a slope. Okay, so you are in the center, which means you are standing like this. So I cannot express here. Actually, India almost in the equator. Okay, whether you are here or here or here, you will be standing like this. Okay, and if you are in south, which means you will be upside down actually, but still standing because of the gravitational force. I just want to say or discuss this thing. Okay, so there are some boys who have this doubt. Okay. Similarly, when you come about with regard to this gravity, I hope you know you have the so-called atmosphere, which is found only in some planets, especially in Earth. This atmosphere, which is filled with gases, is only up to a particular kilometer. When you go away from that, you don't have atmosphere at all. That is a collection of gases. Okay, so I don't mean that gases will not be found when you go far away from the Earth, but still I just want to say, if you go away from that, you will have gases, but you don't come across a collection, a clump. Okay, so only to this particular surface you come across atmosphere, and that atmosphere is actually because of the gravitational force. The gravitational force which actually pulls not only myself or yourself or animals or plants, it also pulls the gases to some extent. So that much power a gravitational force contains. Okay, right, we'll go to the soil profile now. So actually this is the core, okay, from where you are going towards the surface. So let me start from the surface. So where you have plants, animals, humans. Okay, it's just a simple diagram. Okay, don't mistake me. From the surface, the first layer. So actually the soil profile comprises of 3 layers, which you actually call it as horizon. Topmost horizon, middle horizon, bottommost horizon. So you name it as A horizon, the topmost layer, which actually where we are standing. Okay, so the topmost layer, which is actually up to a small distance, is called as A horizon. Next to A horizon, if you go into the earth, you have B horizon, and next to B horizon you have C horizon. So basically there are 3 layers: A horizon, B horizon, C horizon. So you actually go from the surface, not from the bottom or from the core. Okay, so from here A horizon, B horizon, C horizon. So which is up to certain kilometers. When you try to go into that, it is difficult because you have the bedrocks. So that is, I said, near the core. So where you have the bedrocks, you cannot in the sense, it is very difficult to go inside. If you try to go inside, you will find the lava coming out. Then you will start to die. Okay, so risky. Okay, so let us learn this A horizon, B horizon, and C horizon. First of all, A horizon, which is none other than the surface. Okay, where you have plants, animals, and all living organisms on the surface. And when you look into the A horizon, you come across numerous microorganisms, numerous insects, numerous living organisms like worms found only in the A horizon. If you go into B horizon or C horizon, you will not find microorganisms. Very difficult, because main reason is where you have aeration in the soil, in the A horizon. Okay, so you don't have aeration at all. So maybe in B horizon you will find certain anaerobic microorganisms. Anaerobic microorganisms which need not depend on oxygen. So you may, okay, that too rare. So here you come across numerous microorganisms, insects and animals. Then second, you will find the root system of small plants in A horizon, which is not found in B horizon. You will find the root system of small plants like rose, hibiscus. In the other way, I would say herbs and shrubs. The root system of herbs and shrubs. What is herbs and shrubs? Example, grass is an example of herb. I hope now you can understand what is meant by herb. bushy plants, they are called as shrubs. Okay. So the root system you will find only in the A horizon of small plants. The root system of small plants will be found in the A horizon, and then this is said to be the fertile region because of the presence of humus. What is humus? Partially degraded dead substances are called as humus. You come across more amount of humus in the A horizon compared to B horizon, because in B horizon you will find humus, but little amount. You don't have more. You will have less amount of humus in the B horizon, but in only in A horizon where you have more amount of humus. Okay, and because of the presence of humus, the topmost soil, that is A horizon, is fertile, and which is very, very important. So related to your, I just want to say something related to your soil erosion. What is soil erosion? Removal of the top layer of the soil is called as soil erosion. It may be through air or wind, second water, and third due to humans. Okay, so you should be very careful that this soil is not eroded at all. If the soil is eroded, which means fertility is eroded, it is taken away, and because of that it affects the plants and animals which depends on that soil, especially plants. So you should be very careful with soil erosion even when you are in a break, okay, interval period in soil, or in school, or maybe you are playing somewhere. See to that you don't disturb the soil, and that's why you come across during interval or lunch break in school, they used to spray water in the soil such that soil is not eroded. You might have noticed this more amount of dust because of soil, you people running and disturbing the soil, more amount of dust in the air, and that is none other than in one way it is none other than soil erosion. So you should be very careful. And one thing I could say, to prevent soil erosion, you can go for planting more trees. The roots of the plant, they fix the soil, and thereby that avoids the erosion of the soil. Okay. Right. Anyhow, soil is, the A horizon is very, very important, which is fertile region, and that is because of the presence of humus. Then second is B horizon. As I said before, less amount of humus will be found. Second, the roots of large trees will be found in the B horizon, not small plants, large trees. The roots will be found in the B horizon. And third one is more amount of inorganic salts will be found. Okay. So this is not fertile region. Okay. Then third one is C horizon, where you don't come across humus or salts. You come across more amount of lumps of rocks. And again, this is not fertile. Fertile in the sense, even though it may contain certain minerals, but still it is not useful for plants. So hence I am saying in another way, it is not fertile. Okay, so it doesn't mean it is not fertile, but it is not useful because you come across more amount of rocks, pieces of rocks in this C horizon, which is not suitable for plants. Okay, so these are the three horizons which you learn under soil profile. Okay, A horizon, B horizon, C horizon, and below that you have bedrocks. Okay, A horizon, fertile because of the presence of humus. Roots of small plants will be found in A horizon. Numerous organisms, generally, okay, it may be micro or macro organisms will be found in the A horizon. Then B horizon, less amount of humus is found, more amount of inorganic salts are found, and the roots of large trees will be found in the B horizon. And again, this is unfit for plants. Okay. Then C horizon, which comprises of small lumps of rocks, and this is also unfit for plants because rocks, you don't come across normal plants growing in the rocks. Okay, so the best horizon is E horizon. I mean, I am talking the name of plants, animals, and humans. Okay, the best horizon is in other way I would say best. Instead of saying best, I would say suitable, which is good. Okay, which is suitable is E horizon for plants, animals, and human beings.
Okay, guys, let's finish today's session with this simple and least concepts. So we have more to learn, but based on the time factor, I'm just finishing today's topic with these concepts. As usual, concentrate, prepare well, go through the concepts apart from learning all the questions. Repeatedly I'm telling this, so that it will be useful for your future. All the best. Thank you. God bless you and praise the Lord.